All rise.
This is Deeper Than Money. Talk to me. I want viewers watching my show to believe in themselves.
Judge Hatchett is compelling.
If he is not going to honor you, he needs to be gone.
Compassionate.
I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't. And I want to figure out how we get this straight.
She's powerful.
If I were in this situation, I would have put you out too.
And she's on the bench.
I feel like I'm being judged here.
That's what I do.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Lana Scholes is suing Naomi Michaels in the amount of $25,000. Ms. Scholes claims she pulled her daughters out of school because a specific curriculum wasn't disclosed and says she wants their tuition refunded.
All rise. Court is now in session. Honorable Judge Hatchett presiding.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You may be seated. Good day. Ms. Scholes, you're in court today with your two daughters, and you are suing the defendant for some $25,000 because you withdrew your daughters from the school after you had paid the tuition, and you're seeking for that amount to be refunded. So tell me what happened.
Well, my name is Lana Scholes. My daughters, they attend a school that taught critical race theory. It was not on their agenda. I was not told about it. I wasn't asked about it. And I don't want them taught critical race theory. I don't believe in it. I don't want them taught about it. And no one told me they were going to teach them that. It wasn't on their curriculum.
And so how do you define critical race theory?
I think it's teaching the children especially to be a racist and also to be a victim. And I don't like that.
Interesting.
And there's no truth to some of the stories.
So I understand, Ms. Michaels, that you are the head of the school.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me your position about this lawsuit, please.
Okay, I'm the dean and I'm the founder of Inclusive School. We do not teach, first of all, we do not teach critical race theory. You know, we're a private school. We can if we want to, but we don't. You know, we teach Black Wall Street. We teach history. And that's all we do is teach history. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand where Ms. Scholes coming from, that her children were upset. In fact, her children were thriving in class, and they were so excited. I get excited just seeing the kids.
All right, and so you're saying that your children were very upset and that you took your children out of the school.
I did.
All right, and that's the basis of the $25,000 lawsuit. What was the policy about refunding money after children withdraw from school?
The policy on refunds, as soon as they start school, there is no refund.
No refund. And is that clearly written out in the contract?
Yes, Your Honor.
That she signed?
I have the contract here.
Let me have that, please. All right, Ms. Scholes, I want to get down to the real heart of why you felt so strongly that the children were there for 7.5 weeks, is my understanding, and that you then decided to take them out of school.
Judge Emily came home. She was crying, and she had a little anxiety, and she was talking about Black Wall Street and massacre and people being killed and all this. And I said, where did you hear this from? And she said, at school. And she said, it's the, critical race theory. And I was upset because in the curriculum that I was given before they started school, when I signed them up for school, they were going to be taught history. History as in all history, which is great. But when you start teaching the part of history that you decide you want to teach, critical race theory, I don't agree with that. I don't want them to know about that. I will teach them that on my own. You are teaching the girls and the children to be victimized, and I don't like that. And also, where's the proof? Where's the proof? I have pictures. The girls made a collage. I'm sorry. I want to know the truth. I didn't learn in school. I didn't. That was never talked about when I was in school.
Well, and maybe that was a gross omission. Ms. Scholes, let's talk about this collage. Emily, let me hear from you first. I understand that you made a collage. Did you come home very upset? Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, I came up very upset.
Why?
Because I'm 15 years old. I didn't know anything about Black Wall Street. I was also upset knowing that The African Americans were being massacred. There's a whole massacre going on, killings, bombing, everything. It was really upsetting to me. I didn't know anything about this.
And so what did you do? You came home and you said to your mother what?
I was crying and I was telling her telling her about Black Wall Street and how I didn't know anything about it.
And what is this about a collage? I understand that there was a collage.
Yes.
And I understand that we have that evidence. May I see that, please? All right, let's put this up. Talk to me. Tell me about this collage.
So the first horizontal row is about all the African Americans and how successful their businesses were.
Right.
The second horizontal line is all of the bombing and how the massacre started 2 days after an accusation about a young black man that had assaulted a white woman, wasn't proven. Then the third horizontal line is the aftermath and how everything has been destroyed. And then the fourth horizontal row is quotes and that it's being reborn.
Tell me your response to this.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
This is not critical race theory. This is a history lesson on what happened.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Lana Scholes, who is suing Naomi Michaels for tuition reimbursement.
I didn't see them upset in class. They were excited about it. In fact, we even scheduled a field trip to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma to see this history. And they were excited. That's why I see like there's a miscommunication when they came home to mom. I don't know what happened.
What happened? Were you excited at school to learn this information?
I was confused because I didn't know. It was very devastating to hear about it. But then I got over it, and I know it's history, and I'm glad that history is not going to repeat itself, so I'm glad we learned about it. I'm just so confused why I'm learning about it now, and I'm 15 years old.
Interesting comment. Your mother just said that she never learned this history. I have to interject to say that this is history. This is history. And too many students in this nation have been robbed of understanding the totality of the history that has happened. But the fact that you did not know this history does not mean that it is not there. And it is real, and it is important that we know all aspects of our history. All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. I want to hear from your sister. Susan, stand up. I understand that you also made a collage.
Yes, I
And
did.
I'd like to see that, please, and I'd like you to explain it to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Talk to me about your collage, please.
My collage, well, I love my collage. It shows that Black Wall Street is fighting and that it's never going to happen again, and it's very moving and inspiring.
Interesting. So let me get a footnote so that everybody can understand and put this in context. That there was a very prominent, thriving Black community in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that this was well documented. And in essence, what happened is that they came and destroyed it. People were killed. People were run out of their businesses, their homes. They were destroyed by fire and bombs. This was a massacre. There's no way to paint it differently. There's no way to sugarcoat it differently. We need to call it what it is. Because unless we define it correctly, we can never understand this fully. And so this is a misconception in this nation about what critical race theory is. This is not critical race theory. This is a history lesson on what happened. But to close our eyes to it is not what we should do. Closing our eyes to it does not mean that it didn't happen. And until we as people of all races and backgrounds and religions, political persuasions, are willing to open our eyes and really honestly understand history, all of history, then we will always have this division in this country. And I believe that with all my soul. You know, I'm old enough to remember colored water fountains. And I went up the side steps in Sears Roebuck in Florence, South Carolina with my grandmother one day, Miss Michaels. And she turned her back for a second, and I ran up those little steps to get up to the water fountain, to the white water fountain, because I wanted to know if the water tasted differently. 2 white boys knocked me down off of those steps and called me the N-word. I was screaming, my grandmother comes, swoops me up, and was angry with me. As an adult, I understand that she understood that I could have been out that back door, never to be seen again. And so she wasn't really angry with me. She was angry with the system where I'd be called the N-word, knocked down for drinking out of the white water fountain. Michelle, you've got to think about this differently. I'm talking to you as a mother. I'm talking to you as a black mother. You've got to think about this differently. Because they're upset, it's painful, it's horrible that people lost their lives, does not make it not true. Tulsa, Oklahoma was real. And your daughters need to know their history. This is not Miss Michaels' problem. In fact, Miss Michaels we ought to be thanking Miss Michaels. She's a white woman. You know, I might just call it like it is. She's a white woman, you know? And you were probably not raised in a situation where you looked at these issues. Is that fair?
True.
But what you are saying is that I am running a school and I am going to be responsible so that everybody gets an understanding of what all the history means.
Exactly.
Ms. Schultz, what do you want to say to me?
Coming up.
Talking to you as a mother and now a grandmother, it's a heavy responsibility raising black children. It just is.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Lana Scholes, who is suing Naomi Michaels for tuition reimbursement.
I want my children to know and learn about Black history. I just would have liked to have been given a heads up on we're going to teach critical race theory, so I could tell them a little bit about it first so that it wouldn't upset them. Because I know it's going to, but I want them to know that, well, you're going to study it, you're going to hear about it, but some of it, you know, you have to research it a little bit more and see if you could find some truth, and some things aren't all true.
But Ms. Schultz, you aren't hearing me. This is not critical race theory. Your children aren't being taught to be victims, nor are they taught to be hateful. They're being taught history. And the truth is, and this is no criticism of you, but you didn't know the history.
True.
So you can teach it to them. And so what I'm saying, it is incumbent upon you to take time to learn the history. Because if you do, then you'll understand that this is not critical race theory. This is history. This is not just Black history. This is American history. But we as parents, you know, talking to you as a mother and now a grandmother, it's a heavy responsibility raising Black children. It just is.
Coming up.
I went to a great public school where my teachers cared deeply about me and insisted on excellence. Well, I didn't know about Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Lana Scholes, who is suing Naomi Michaels for tuition reimbursement.
How long have the kids been out of school? Would you consider putting them back?
I'll consider it, but I want to know the curriculum. I want to know what they're going to be teaching them.
Can they come back to the school?
Absolutely. I wish you would change your mind.
So, Emily, if you had a choice, what would you do now, sweetie? Would you want to go
Stand up,
back to
baby.
the school? Honestly. I know your mother's right here, and I know it's tough to go against your mom, but, you know, honestly, what would you want to do?
I would go back into school because the school's good, the teacher's amazing, it's interactive, and I'm a visual learner, so that's really good for me, and I learned something that I have never learned before, so I would go back.
Listen, I wish I had learned it when I was you all's age. I went to a great public school where my teachers cared deeply about me and insisted on excellence. Well, I didn't know about Tulsa, Oklahoma. I certainly didn't know anything about Black Wall Street, and I wish I had. I wish I had had that base of knowledge because it would have further equipped me in the world. So I go from an all-black public high school in Atlanta to an all-white, very elite Ivy League school in the Northeast, where I'm one of the few black students on the campus. And I need to be equipped with my history. I need to know as much about me and my people as I could possibly know. You know, it would have made me a better student. It would have made me a better person.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
Okay, so Ms. Scholes, let me ask you, if they go back to school and there's a part of the curriculum that talks about what happened to Native Americans in this country who were slaughtered, how are you gonna feel about that?
I do understand that question, and you're right.
And they talk about the Holocaust, with people being marched into chambers and killed by the thousands. How will you deal with that?
We will talk about it.
All right, that's what I want. I need you to have an open mind. I hope you understand that I am talking to you from my heart, not just as a judge, but as a mother and a grandmother. All right, I am going to deny your claim, Ms. Scholes, because the contract is clear that you took the children out after the school started. Legally, you are not entitled to the $25,000. For the reasons I've articulated, I'm going to deny the claim, and I am hopeful that this will be a turning point for you and for your family. If there's nothing further, we will stand adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
They could come back anytime they want to.
I'd like to get together, and I want to go over the curriculum.
Okay. How about if I ask you to come to the classroom with them?
I would love that.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.